What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So I have a few things I want to talk about today. We're going to talk about the checks that will be going out today. I also want to talk about the debt ceiling. So the House and the Senate, they both passed the debt ceiling. And so we're looking at a situation now where it'll be signed off by the president and we will be able to move forward and not go into default. So I'm going to talk about that. And the next thing I want to talk about value, bringing value to this channel. And I posted a video a couple of days ago about a travel credit card. And some people were upset about that. And some people went so far as to say, you know, you're not talking about stimulus checks anymore. Where's the stimulus check? So I'm going to leave because you're not talking about that. You're talking about credit cards. We want stimulus checks. Well, I can only talk about stimulus checks if stimulus checks are on the horizon. But stimulus checks right now are not on the horizon. And we don't know if we'll ever see another stimulus check. And so I'm being honest with you guys when I say that, and I'm not going to be one of those YouTubers that's out there telling you that you're going to get a stimulus check for Christmas or that you're going to get a stimulus check in January. I'm not going to do that. Some people might feel comfortable doing that. I want to be honest with you guys and let you guys know, look, this is what politicians are talking about, and they are not talking about stimulus checks right now. They're not talking about enhanced unemployment. They're not talking about hazard pay. They're not talking about a lot of things. They're not talking about the $10,000 to go towards your student loans, to pay off your student loans. They're not talking about a lot of different things. And so I'm not going to pretend or try to mislead you and let you think that something's coming when it's not coming. And so that's a part of bringing value. I want to bring you information that can help you. And I also want to bring you information that's true. Facts. I don't want to put out things that are just things that sources are saying or politicians said this 6 months ago. That's not what I'm all about. So I want to talk a little bit about value. Then I also want to show you kind of something that's unbelievable. Okay, so I want to show you that, and it ties in with the whole travel credit card thing, just so you kind of know where I'm coming from. And I've experienced some of this stuff personally, so I know it does work. So we'll talk a little bit about that later. But first off, on this channel, we talk about money, news, and more. If that sounds like something interesting to you, please subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell notification. That way you'll get notified anytime we put out a video. And like always, if you see my name and a picture of me in the comment section, make sure you also see a check mark next to my name. That check mark signifies that it's me. If you do not see that check mark, it's not me. It's someone trying to impersonate me. Okay, so the first story I want to talk about, the debt ceiling. So we have averted default. So it looks like the Senate yesterday, they passed the debt ceiling. So they moved forward. And they needed the 50 votes. They got the 50 votes they needed. Now they have Kamala Harris to come in and break the tie. So now they moved to the House. The House went ahead late last night. They voted and passed the debt ceiling. So now it will go to the president for signature. And so we're looking at a situation where we're not going into default. So that is really good news. All right. Now, when it comes to checks, we have checks going out today. Okay. So if you're receiving the child tax credit, this is the last check that will be going out. And then next year, when you file your 2021 taxes, that's when you will get the remainder of the child tax credit. And we'll have to see when it comes to Build Back Better, if they can move this forward anytime soon, then you might see a check in January. But if they can't move anything, and it doesn't look like, I mean, I'm being honest with you, it doesn't look like we're going to see this Build Back Better get approved in the Senate, get approved in the House, and signed off by the president by the end of the year. So we're probably going to be looking sometime next year when they try to figure this whole thing out when it comes to Build Back Better. But if something does happen and they're able to move forward and get this Build Back Better plan through, and it has that child tax credit in there, then in January you'll receive another check. But like I said, that's highly unlikely at this point. So this will be the last child tax credit check. So, and I want to know in the comment section, because I do have some people who watch my channel who are receiving the child tax credit. Let me know how beneficial it is to you. So let me know that down in the comments. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about bringing value, adding value when it comes to this channel. And I've always been the type of person where if I find something out and I think it's amazing, I want to share that with you guys. Even if it's off topic, even if it's something that you might not be interested in, it might touch some people and they might get interested in it, or you might not know this situation even exists. And then once you find out, then you say, you know what? I can do that. I want to try to do that. And that's what happened with me when it came to travel credit cards, because travel credit cards is something, credit cards in general, I was always against credit cards. Like when I went to college, that's when I got my first credit card, and it was a complete disaster. Like I didn't know what to do with credit cards. I didn't know how to use credit cards. I ran that credit card up because I'm in college. I'm poor, and so I ran it up and wasn't paying it every month. And so I was paying interest on that. And I'm telling you, it took me about 10 years, actually about 15 years, to completely pay off that credit card, the first credit card that I got. It was a Discover card. And it was ridiculous. It really was, but I didn't know any better. And then, so I was always against credit cards after that. And every month that I was paying that credit card off, or trying to pay the credit card off, and of course, at that time, I was paying the minimum balance, and it was just, it really bothered me, this whole credit card thing. And so now, looking back on that, I use credit cards completely different. So I'll get out there, I will use my credit card, but I'll pay it off every month, never carry a balance, and that is the key. And I also get credit cards that earn points. Those are the only credit cards that I use. I don't just get a regular credit card. If it's not earning points, I'm not using it. And it has to be certain credit cards that I get that earn the right points. So let me show you this. I want to show you this article because this is pretty amazing here. So the points guy. Now this is where I started out when it came to travel credit cards, because I didn't know anything, didn't know any better, but I wanted to travel. That's all I knew. So I went to this blog, and I started following the points guy. And he has really, really good information. So I highly recommend, if you have any interest at all when it comes to travel credit cards, look him up, because he will give you some really good information when it comes to travel credit cards and points and how to use those points. So what I'm showing you here, this is on a plane, believe it or not. This is Singapore Airlines. And if you read the title here, where's our title? Here it is right here. It says, rare deal to book coveted Singapore Airlines first class suite using miles. Okay, so they're using miles to do this. So you're not paying a lot of money out of pocket. You're using these miles that you can accumulate when you have different travel credit cards. Okay, and so that's what they're using here. And so when we look, and I just want to show you really quickly how many points they use, and then we're going to take a look at this up close, this seat here. So now this is Chris Flyer miles. I'm not going to go into too much detail when it comes to this. I'll do that in maybe in a future video. I'm doing one travel related video per week, so I don't want to take up too much time on Chris Flyer miles and what that means and all that. But just understand it's 86,000 miles. Okay, so that's what we should be focused on there. And so that's what he used to book. You can book this. This is a one-way ticket. Okay, in this flight, they're flying from JFK to FRA, okay, to Frankfurt. So that's what this ticket would get you, 86,000 miles. Now, I'm not going to talk about the price yet. I'm going to talk about the price at the very end because it will be pretty unbelievable. You'll be amazed at how cheap this really is. So people that are saying, well, I can't afford to travel, everyone can afford to travel if you do it the right way. All right, so let's take a look at this cabin or this suite. Pretty amazing, right? So you have your own jump seat, which everyone gets their own jump seat when you go on a plane. So if you're economy, first class, you all get your own jump seat, but you have your own private area. Okay, so not only do you have your own jump seat, but you also have your own bed, and your bed is out, like it's laid out, and so that's pretty amazing. Now, if you fly first class, now I've never flown on anything like this before. I'll just say that right off the bat. I've flown first class. I've flown business class. I've had some pretty nice experiences flying first class, but I've never had a suite. I've never flown on anything like this. Now, and believe it or not, the flight, when I flew first class, it was 75,000 miles. So it wasn't too much off from this. This is 86,000. It was 75, 76,000 that I used when I flew that one-way ticket, and I was coming from London back to the U.S. So nonetheless, when you fly first class, you always get pajamas. So they'll have pajamas for you, and then they'll have slippers. That just comes standard. And in a lot of situations, when you're flying, let's say you could even be flying economy. I flew from China to the U.S., and I can't remember the name of the airline. But nonetheless, they gave us slippers in in economy. Okay, so, and I do fly economy sometimes. I try to fly business class on at least business class on all my flights, but in certain situations, in this situation, it was a mixed cabin. So basically, it meant that I was flying business class part of the way, and then because I was coming from Thailand. So from Thailand to China, I was flying business class, and then once I got to China, flying back to the U.S., which is the long haul flight, I had to fly economy. So nonetheless, let's just look at some of the other things on here. So you get your slippers, you got a nice little flower here, and you just see the space. You have a lot of space, and you have this divider. I don't know if you see that, but there's a divider. It almost looks kind of like a mirror, but that's a divider. So let's say if you are a couple and you guys booked 2 suites, well, you can have them where you can sleep together and have that just a real nice space there for both of you guys. And then if not, if you don't have a significant other, you can just pull this out and you'll have your own little space there. So you just pull this little thing out here and it'll go all the way and it'll split the beds up. You have this electronic device here, and this is for the TV that you have here. TV could be a lot bigger, I think. Just looking at the space they have here, they could have put a larger TV there. And then you have a lot of cabinet space here and probably a little closet down there. But for the most part, I mean, this is just, it's a beautiful seat, right? And this is something that most people, this is for the 1%. Okay, so when we start talking about the rich people, the multi-millionaires, the billionaires, this is for them. And these seats, I couldn't even imagine how much this would cost. But I would say for a one-way ticket, it would be at least $10,000 and probably even more than that. But what I want to show you guys, for those of you saying I can't afford to travel, there's no way I can afford that seat. If you're using the 86,000 miles, which you would earn with your credit card, and in a lot of situations when you use these credit cards, you're able to get a bonus, a sign-up bonus. So you sign up for the credit card, you spend a certain amount of money in the first 3 months or whatever their minimum spend time frame is, and you can get a bonus. And some bonuses are 50,000, some bonuses are 100,000. So you could get that just with getting one credit card. But what I want to really show you guys, and this is what's important here. This one-way ticket, 86,000. So we're looking at 86,000 Chris Flyer miles, okay? This is how much you pay. That's how much you're paying out of pocket, okay? And you might think that's a typo. No, that's not a typo. That is how much out of pocket you pay. Pretty amazing. And that's why I say you can fly for pennies on the dollar. I've done this, and they're showing you here. They actually went through the whole process of booking, and they're showing you exactly what's going on here. So in this case, it was 3 seats, so 3 adult seats. If you see here, it says 3 adult seats. And so they used 258,000 miles, and this is what they paid. Now, they had to pay that times 3, right? So 580 or 560 times 3. And so that's how they got that price. So $16 for 3 people, plus the 258,000 miles. Now, if you were only able to do this once in a lifetime, wouldn't that be amazing? I mean, you pay that $5.60, and now you're able to travel in style like that. And I'm telling you, these experiences, they're pretty amazing. And so that's one of the things that I want to bring to the channel. I want you guys to see some value in this. I don't want to just talk about stimulus checks. If no stimulus checks are being talked about, I'm just selling pipe dreams. That's all I'm doing. But I can show you stuff like this where you might be able to get yourself in a situation where you can travel, and something that you've never even thought was possible, because you might be on a fixed income. You might not really have that money to book a flight like this. But let's face it, I don't have the money. Most Americans do not have money to fly like this. But if you do it the right way, you can earn those points and you can fly like this, because the points are what gets you there. You don't have to spend a lot of money to travel like this. And we're just talking about flights. We can talk about hotels too, because hotels will do the same thing. If you're a part of their program, a lot of times they will take care of you. And I've had situations where I've stayed in a hotel. I was in Hawaii. This was a couple of years ago. This wasn't the last trip, but I had one night that I was staying one night longer than my family. And so I had to book a hotel. I booked at the Hyatt Regency, and she upgraded me because she saw that I was part of their program. And I stay when I travel, if I'm staying in a hotel, I'm staying in a Hyatt. That's just the way I travel. And so she saw that history that he stays at Hyatt. So she decided, you know what, we have this available suite. Let's go ahead and give it to him. And this was an amazing suite. I mean, this was one of those situations. I don't want to say it was too much, but it was just, for me, it was just me. I was sleeping there for a night. It wasn't that big of a deal. But I mean, you had your own private little area, your little sitting area, little family room. You had your bathroom. You had your nice bedroom. And then you had the ocean out there. So it was an oceanfront view. I mean, it was amazing. It was an amazing situation. I believe I did a video on it. I'm not sure if I did a video on it back when it happened, but in the future I still have some of the footage. So in the future I'll share that with you guys. But I don't want to make this video too long. I know it's already long, but I just want to talk about that. When it comes to value, I want to bring value to the channel. And if there's stuff that I find that, hey, this could work for my audience. This could work for people who are on a fixed income and might be thinking there's no way I could ever afford to travel. Well, guess what? There's a way that you can afford to travel, and you don't have to travel like this. You can travel economy just to get there. But some people like flying economy, and I get it. I understand. You can take more trips if you fly economy, because that same ticket for 86,000 miles, it would probably be 50,000 miles round trip economy. And so just wanted to share that with you guys. Let me know what you guys think down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one.